Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mining Modern. This week, I have in the post-Christmas haze. By the way, I hope all your holidays went great. But we are going very dark this week, mono black, as it turns out. So I've seen lists mono black devotion ever since it dominated standard. On the back of Pack Rat and Mutavault has sort of been around modern. Floating on the edges. So I decided to give it a go. Now, I've seen a lot of different lists floating around. I've based this mostly off of lists that got second place at a Star City Games IQ several months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So this is a little bit of a work in progress for sure, but I think it's at least worth exploring here to see what we can do. We may revisit it in the future. People seem to like it when I took Black Red Eldrazi and made some work on the deck and came up with Mardu Eldrazi, which, after some mana based fixes and a couple small changes to the deck, I'd actually be very happy playing it at a big tournament. So we'll see. Let me know if you guys feel like, iterating on a deck is something worthwhile. As it is, this is what we're rolling out with this week. So it's Mono Black Devotion. The big payoffs here, really, I guess this is probably the only card even says Devotion, is Grey Merchant of Asphodel, which is pretty good. It's a drain at the top end here. But what it really means is by playing Mono Black, you need to do stuff like play Phyrexian Obliterated, which is just insane. Of course, it's a 5/5 for 4. Whenever a source does damage to it, that source's controller sacrifices permanent. So it's extremely difficult for opponents to deal with. Kalitas, another good 4-drop. One damnation in here to clean up. But so before I get into the specific cards anymore, sort of our overall plan is to control the board through the effects like the damnation and the obliterator and some removal and Liliana's and Gatekeeper of Malakir, which for 3 mana can cause them to sack a creature. And then control their hand through these discard spells. We have 6 discard spells in the main deck, as all around discard, but we also have 2 Collective Brutalities, which are really great in a deck running Relentless Dead, which is pretty good. When it dies, you can return to your hand. So you can discard, say, something like Geralf's Messenger, which is a really good zombie for 3 black mana. Has Undying, it'll drain him for life. It's very good. So we can discard it to something like Collective Brutality on turn 2 with the plan of buying it back with Relentless Dead later. So sort of in a nutshell, this is a deck. It's a mono black control essentially, even though it's sort of called Devotion because of Grey Merchant at the top end. But it's a lot of removal, a lot of discard. Relentless Dead, as I said, combo is great with a bunch of cards in the deck, mainly Geralf's Messenger, but it's very good all around. It also allows you to buy back your Grey Merchants, so I like it. It's strong. So a lot of these creatures are just value, Geralf's Messenger, value creature, Obliterator, value creature, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, value creature, Relentless Dead, value, Gatekeeper, value, Hangerback, value. It's really just sort of each one of them gives you a small advantage that builds up over the course of the game. So when it's turn 6 or turn 7 and both of you have sort of torn through your hands, maybe you'll be left with a small advantage, whether it's a Geralf's Messenger because of Undying or a couple Thopters from this, or just being able to get a big life swing. Of course, we also play Liliana the Veil for power level and some Phyrexian Arenas for some card draw, which is hard to find in mono black. So that's the deck. That's the main deck. It's very good. Moving on to the sideboard, just sort of we splashed, as you can see, these Blood Crypts over here, simply so we can play Blood Moon against Tron decks. But we have another Brutality where we need it, Surgical for Dredge, and another place that's good, Duress for your burn or control matchups, Vandal Blast for Affinity, Grafdigger's Cage, just another card that can come in against Dredge, but it's also good against Collected Company decks. Grey Merchant and sort of those mid-rangey aggro decks that want to beat you down, another Damnation to clean up, and a Whip of Erebos against control, which is pretty good when you whip back something like a Geralf's Messenger or a Grey Merchant. So that's the deck. I don't have a ton of experience with this historically, so I'm interested to see where it goes and figure out if this is really something that could make waves in Modern. It occasionally will pop up in a league where it'll go 4-1, 5-0 from time to time. Certainly not with a lot of regularity, but it's enough to look into. So that's what we're doing here this week. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into some matches.